Well, hello again. Welcome to a reading of Exodus chapter 12 from the Septuagint. And I got up to verse 21. Ekalesen de Moses pasan Gerusian huion Israel kai epen prosautus. So, and Moses called the entire Gerusia. Now that's a word from classical Greek, meaning generally it was a council of elders. Here it's just, I think, a general word for a council. So a council of the sons of Israel. And he said to them, Apelthontes labete humin hiautois, probaton, kata son geneas humo, kai thusati taupaska. Having gone, take for yourselves, this is a funny combination here, it's not particularly good Greek, but it's for you yourselves, probaton, a sheep, kata sungeneas, sungene here in the sense of family. The kata is translating Hebrew l here, meaning two or four, but here it's normally rendered with ace, but here with kata. So it's literally perhaps according to your families. So according to your family, according to the families of you, and sacrifice the Passover to Pascha. Lepses there. Now this is again probably this is a future probably. You will take. They often use the future to translate what we would normally have an imperative, but we'll just say it, we'll just take it literally as it is. So you will take desmain. Now that's a funny word. It means a bundle. It's only here in the New Testament, in the Septuagint, although the meaning's pretty clear. It's from deo, to bind, and hence a bundle. So you will take a bundle of hyssop, and bapsantes from bapto, having dipped it. Now we get a funny expression here, having dipped it from the blood, so we would say in the blood, which is beside the door. Now this again is very odd because the Masoretic text says in the basin. So it's a slight variation on what you get in the Masoretic text here. So having dipped it from the blood, which is beside the door, kathixete, from kathizdo to, well, it's a causative here in that you will cause it to sit. In other words, you will place it. So literally you will cause it to sit. So you will place it, and followed by a genitive, which is also slightly odd here. So you will cause it to sit. We'd have to say on, taking the kata out of the verb here, on the flea. This is the door lintel, and upon both of the stathmone. These are the two door posts, the two vertical door posts, and then it repeats again from the blood, which is beside the door, which again is not in the Masoretic text. Humaste, but you do not do not go out, each of you, the door. So let not each of you leave the door of his house, heos proi, until, well, it says early, so we've seen this expression before. It means until the following day. So you do not go out, and then we go from plural to singular, each one of you. Do not go out, and normally expect a genitive after the X here, but we get an accusative. So do not leave the door of his house. Let each one not leave the door of his house until the next day. And kurios again for Yahweh. Yahweh parallusatai will pass over, literally pass beside, pataxai, to smite or to strike from patasso, the Egyptians, and he will see the blood of the on the epites phlias, on the lintel, and upon amphoteron, and upon both. I'll just line this up here. Of the stathmon of the two doorposts. And Yahweh, Kurios, will pass over the door, Kai uk aphase. This is from Aphiami, future. He will not allow. Now this is an interesting bit here. The one who is destroying is a participle, so he will not allow the destroyer, Ace Elthane, to enter into your houses, and then we get an epexegetic infinitive here, so as to strike. Kai phulaxes the torema tuto. Now rema is an interesting word. It translates the Hebrew davar, which can mean either a word or a thing, and it just depends on context. So you will guard this thing, or perhaps this word, as a nomimum, as a custom for yourself and for your sons, Hios Ionos, forever, until the end of the age. So until the age, so it's an expression for forever. Ean der eis elthati eis tengain, and if you come out from the land, if you enter into the land, I should say, hain, which, and now we get a do here from didomi, subjunctive I think here, with an, which Yahweh would give, or perhaps might give, to you, kath hoti, for kata plus hoti, according as he has said, so just as he has said. Full access there, again it could be imperative or it could be just future, so you will guard this latreia. Now interesting word here, latreian, it means a service or a right. It's connected with latreo. Latruo is to serve as a lackey, and here this word seems to mean a right or a service. And it will be that if your sons might say to you, tis he latreia haute, it's a question, what is this right, what is this service? And you will say, so we would say, then you will say to them, this, understand, is, this sacrifice is the Passover, thusia to pascha tuto, the Passover for Yahweh, Kurio. When escapesen from skepazdo, we've had before, it means to cover over and can have the meaning of protect. When he protected the houses of the sons of Israel in Egypt, when epataxen, from patasso again, when he smote or struck the Egyptians. But erusata, from ruamai, he kept safe, he saved or protected, from ruamai, to save, our houses. Kai kupsas hot laos prosekunesen, and the people, the host, kupsas from kupto, having bent down, they worshipped, from proskunio. Kai apelthontes, and going up the sons of Israel, epoiesen, they did, katha, for kata and plus ha, according as Yahweh had instructed. This is from en telemai, to order or give instruction to. So as Yahweh had ordered or given instruction to Moses and Aaron, thus they did. Egenethe de mesuses tes nuptos kai kurios epatex in pan prototokon en gay aigupto apoprototoku pharaoh to kathemenu epi to thronu heus prototoku tes isk malotidos tes into laco kai heos prototoku pantos ktenus. So it came to pass, it happened that, now this is probably either a genitive absolute or where, because it's got a participle here, so being in the middle. So when the night was in the middle, I think it's a genitive absolute here. So in the middle of the night, it happened that also Yahweh smote or struck pan prototokon, every firstborn, well, it's male, well, it's actually neuter here, every firstborn thing in the Egyptian land, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, the one Kathemenu, the one sitting epituthronu on the throne, until the firstborn tes Aikmalotis. This is from Aikmalotis. This is a feminine slave. It's a very old word. It's Homeric, and it has that root of Aikme, the spear, and the halot here is from the verb for taking, from haliskamai. So it means taken by the spear. So it means a slave, someone who's taken after a battle, was the original sense of it. Probably here just the slave, really. So from the firstborn of a slave woman, the one who is entolaco. Now, funny use of the word here. It means here. I think it means a dungeon. It's used elsewhere in the Septuagint to refer to a vat, a large container. It's the word used of the place where they throw Joseph in, which is probably some kind of cistern. But anyway, so I think here it's dungeon. I think it's generally translated as. So from, just to do this bit again, so Yahweh struck all the firstborn thing in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who was sitting upon the throne, until the firstborn of the captive woman, might be best here, the one who is in the dungeon, and as far as the firstborn of each ktenus, this is genitive here from ktenos, third declension neuter noun, cattle. Kai anastas pharo nuktos, kai pantes hoi therapontes autu, kai pantes hoi aiguptioi, kai egenethe krauge megale en pasege aiguptu. And having arisen by night, genitive of time during which, Pharaoh and all his servants and all the Egyptians also, having arisen, well, there's no main verb in that sentence. Now we get the main verb here, which is agreeing with the subject is here. So a great cry, krauge, arose in all of Egypt. So we might have to say here that Pharaoh by night and all his servants and all the Egyptians arose. So make this into a finite verb, but it's a participle. So they arose, and there was a great cry in all of Egypt. Uga ein oikia en he uk ein enaute tethnekos. For there was not a house in, now this again is this repetition of this section, this enaute is not translatable really, it's taken care of by the en he. So there was not a house in which there was not one having died, and then in it, which I mentioned before is because of the relative pronoun in Hebrew. Tethnekos is a perfect participle from, it's from thenesko. You normally get apothenesko, but to die, which is a compound, but you will often see the perfect tethnaka, and the participle here used without the apo. Generally, thnesko is used in poetry, but you do get the perfect used without the preposition. So there was not a house in which there was not someone who had died. And that's the next section of chapter 12.